Welcome to Forgotten History Daily. I am William, and tonight we journey into one of history's most fascinating and darkest stories. On a sweltering summer evening in 1945, as Allied forces marched through the ruins of Berlin, the US Office of Strategic Services, or OSS, began secretly shipping out Nazi science. What you're about to learn will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the origins of your country's military might. Imagine it. Wernher von Braun, the architect of the V-2 rocket that terrorized London and other European cities during World War II, was not only spared from the gallows, but welcomed with open arms. He would go on to become a key figure in the development of America's space program, helping to design rockets that put man on the moon just over 2 decades later. But von Braun's story is just one strand in a vast tapestry of deceit and collaboration between Nazi scientists and the US government after World War II. Operation Paperclip, as it came to be known, was a clandestine operation that brought hundreds of high-ranking scientists from Germany to America under the guise of protecting them from Soviet retribution. But what these men were really working on would have far-reaching implications for global security. As the Cold War began to take shape in the late 1940s and early 1950s, America's need for cutting-edge technology became increasingly urgent. With the Soviet Union rapidly expanding its nuclear arsenal, the US government was desperate for experts who could help bridge the gap between them. And so, under the wise of US intelligence agents, these former Nazis began to work on some of the most groundbreaking and sinister projects in modern history. Tonight, we'll delve into the inner workings of Operation Paperclip, exposing the complex web of alliances and compromises that led America to not only tolerate, but actively encourage the involvement of. We'll meet the men behind the operation, from the brilliant engineers who helped shape the US military's future, to the high-ranking officials who turned a blind eye to their troubled pasts. So join me on this journey into the shadows of American history, where we'll uncover the truth about Operation Paperclip and its far-reaching consequences for our world today. As the years went by, it became increasingly clear that Operation Paperclip was more than just a simple recruitment drive. It was a complex web of espionage, propaganda, and psychological manipulation that played on the very human emotions of the scientists themselves. Many of these men had been deeply embroiled in the Nazi regime's atrocities, and yet they were given carte blanche to work for the US government. One of the key players in Operation Paperclip was a man named Arthur Rudolph, a German engineer who had worked on the V-2 rocket program at Peenemünde. Like von Braun, Rudolph had been a senior member of the Nazi regime's technical team and had even been awarded the Iron Cross for his contributions to the war effort. Yet, when he arrived in America in 1945, he was welcomed with open arms by US intelligence agents who were more interested in his technical expertise than his questionable past. Rudolph went on to become a key figure in NASA's Saturn V program, helping to design the rockets that would eventually take American astronauts to the moon. But as we've learned from documents declassified in recent years, Rudolph was also involved in some of the most sinister projects of the Cold War era. Alongside other paperclip scientists, he worked on the development of ballistic missiles and chemical warfare agents, including sarin gas. These were not just technical collaborations, they were also deeply entwined with the darker aspects of human nature. As one declassified memo from the time reveals, US officials knew that paperclip scientists had been directly involved in Nazi atrocities, but chose to ignore their pasts in order to advance American interests. It is estimated that over 80% of the German V-2 engineers have been found guilty of war crimes, reads a confidential report from the CIA. However, these men are so valuable for our research and military purposes that they will not be allowed to leave the country. We are willing to make certain concessions in order to hold on to them. The consequences of Operation Paperclip went far beyond just individual scientists or their projects, however. As we'll see in the next part of this documentary, it had a profound impact on America's scientific and military landscape as a whole. Take, for example, the case of Hubertus Struckold, another prominent paperclip scientist who made his way to America after World War II. A leading expert in aerodynamics and pressure suits, Struckold worked closely with NASA on projects such as Project Mercury, which aimed to send an American astronaut into space. But what's perhaps most disturbing about Struckold's story is the research he conducted at the University of Cincinnati's Aerospace Medical Center. Alongside other scientists, he experimented on unwitting prisoners from nearby federal correctional institutions, subjecting them to prolonged exposure to high altitudes and toxic gases in order to study These experiments were brutal, inhumane, and eerily reminiscent of the Nazi regime's infamous Angel of Death, experiments conducted by Joseph Mengele. Yet, while those atrocities are still widely recognized today as examples of one of the darkest chapters in human history, the work of men like Struckold remains largely forgotten, a testament to the way Operation Paperclip allowed America. As we delve deeper into this story, you'll begin to see a pattern emerge, one that reveals how America's pursuit of scientific progress and military supremacy led it down a path of moral compromise with its foe. And as we reach the heart of Operation Paperclip, we'll confront some uncomfortable truths about what really happened in the shadows of the Cold War, and where those shadows still linger today. But before we go any further, let's take a look at some of the key players behind Operation Paperclip. The United States, 1946. A nation still reeling from the devastating effects of World War II, yet already looking to the future with an air of optimism. It's a time of great change and upheaval, as Americans begin to rebuild their shattered world. But amidst this period of reconstruction, a curious phenomenon is unfolding. In the aftermath of the war, the United States government launches Operation Paperclip, a clandestine operation designed to recruit the best and brightest minds from Germany's military-industrial complex. These were men who had played a pivotal role in the Nazi regime's technological advancements, but now found themselves with skills that were highly sought after by the Americans. As we delve into this story, imagine yourself standing on the bustling streets of Washington, D.C., surrounded by the grandeur of government buildings and the hum of activity. The air is alive with the sounds of construction, as the city is rapidly transformed from a war-torn metropolis to a hub of innovation and progress. It's the spring of 1946, and the United States is on the cusp of a new era. The Operation Paperclip scientists are brought to America under the guise of being enemy alien specialists. They're initially settled in Huntsville, Alabama, where they're given quarters at Redstone Arsenal, a former These scientists, many of whom had previously worked on the V2 rocket program, were now being tasked with developing new technologies for the American military. As we explore this world, think about the parallels to our own time. We live in an era where scientific advancements are rapidly changing the fabric of our society. From artificial intelligence to space exploration, the work of these paperclip scientists would lay the groundwork for many of the technological marvels that we take for granted today. One name stands out amidst this cast of characters: Walter Dornberger. A seasoned military engineer and former SS Obergruppenführer, Dornberger had played a key role in the development of Germany's V2 rocket program. He'd also been involved in some rather unsettling activities during his time with the Nazi regime. Yet, as we learn more about Operation Paperclip, it becomes clear that these scientists were not simply being brought to America for their expertise, but also for their connections and knowledge of German military capabilities. As Dornberger settles into his new life in Alabama, he begins to exert his influence within the American science community. He's a charismatic figure with a commanding presence and a talent for networking. And as he navigates the complex web of American bureaucracy, it becomes clear that he's not just any ordinary scientist. Dornberger's world is one of privilege and power, where connections are forged over cocktails and backroom deals. He moves effortlessly between government officials, military leaders, and high-ranking scientists, forging alliances and pushing his agenda with ease. And as we follow him through the corridors of power, it's striking how much this echoes our own time, where influence is often wielded behind closed doors, and those with connections hold the reins. But Dornberger's impact extends far beyond the world of high politics. He becomes a key figure in the development of America's ballistic missile program, working closely with scientists at Redstone Arsenal to create a new generation of rockets that will change the face of modern warfare. As we explore this story further, think about the role that science and technology have played in shaping our own world. From the internet to smartphones, the innovations born out of Operation Paperclip have had a profound impact on our daily lives. Yet, as we peel back the layers of history, it becomes clear that these advancements were not simply the result of human ingenuity, but also the product of moral compromise and pragmatic calculation. The world of 1946 is one of contrasts, a time of great optimism, yet also of stark brutality. The shadows of World War II still linger, casting long silhouettes across the landscape of American society. And as we delve deeper into this story, it becomes clear that Operation Paperclip was not simply an exercise in technological transfer, but also a reflection of America's own moral compromises during this period. As Dornberger continues to exert his influence within the American scientific community, he begins to push the boundaries of what is acceptable. He advocates for the use of slave labor and forced re-education programs, ideas that seem eerily familiar to our modern world. And as we learn more about these proposals, it becomes clear that they're not just the product of a bygone era, but also a reflection of America's own complex relationship with technology and power. The story of Operation Paperclip is one of forgotten history, a tale of moral compromise and pragmatic calculation, where the pursuit of scientific progress was often tempered by the harsh realities of politics and war. As we follow Dornberger through the corridors of power, it becomes clear that this world is not so different from our own, where the lines between right and wrong are often blurred, and the pursuit of progress is often at odds with our most basic human. And yet, as we reach the heart of this story, it's also clear that there's a deeper truth at play, a truth about the nature of human innovation, and the ways in which we've always been willing to push the boundaries of what's acceptable in order to advance our own interests. It's a tale of America's own dark side, one that's often hidden from view, yet continues to shape our world today. As we continue to explore this story, imagine yourself standing amidst the bustling streets of Washington, D.C., surrounded by the grandeur of government buildings and the hum of activity. The air is alive with the sounds of construction, as America hurtles forward into a new era of technological advancement and global competition. It's a time of great change and upheaval, but also one of profound moral complexity. The world of Operation Paperclip is a fascinating, if often disturbing place. A world where science and technology are wielded like instruments of power, and the boundaries between right and wrong are constantly blurred. As we continue to follow Dornberger through this labyrinthine world, it becomes clear that this story has far-reaching implications for our understanding of America's past and its future. As the 1940s give way to the 1950s, Operation Paperclip reaches a crescendo of activity. Scientists like Dornberger become household names, their contributions to American innovation celebrated in newspapers and magazines across the country. Yet, as we learn more about this world, it becomes clear that there's a darker side to this tale, one that's still largely forgotten today. As we explore this story further, think about the parallels between the America of 1946 and our own time. We live in an era of rapid technological progress, where innovation is often tempered by concerns over security and power. And as we learn more about Operation Paperclip, it becomes clear that these same tensions between science, technology, and politics continue to shape our world today. The story of Walter Dornberger and the other paperclip scientists is a testament to human ingenuity and the drive for innovation. Yet, as we peel back the layers of history, it's also clear that this tale has far-reaching implications for our understanding of America's past and its future. It's a complex, often disturbing story, but one that ultimately offers a profound insight into the nature of human progress and the costs that are sometimes paid along the way. As we continue to explore this labyrinth world, imagine yourself standing amidst the ruins of war-torn Germany, surrounded by the echoes of a bygone era. The shadows of World War II still linger, casting long silhouettes across the landscape of American society. And as we delve deeper into the story of Operation Paperclip, it becomes clear that this tale has far-reaching implications for our understanding of history and ourselves. The world of 1946 is a fascinating, if often disturbing place. A world where science and technology are wielded like instruments of power, and the boundaries between right and wrong are constantly blurred. As we continue to follow Dornberger through this labyrinth world, it becomes clear that this story has far-reaching implications for our understanding of America's past and its future. As the years pass, Operation Paperclip continues to shape the American scientific community in profound ways. Scientists like Dornberger become key figures in the development of new technologies, working closely with military leaders and government officials to create a new generation of rockets and missiles that will change the face of. Yet, as we learn more about this world, it becomes clear that these innovations are not simply the product of human ingenuity, but also the result of moral compromise and pragmatic calculation. The story of Operation Paperclip is one of forgotten history, of America's own dark side, where the pursuit of scientific progress is often tempered by the harsh realities of politics and war. As we reach the heart of this story, it's clear that there's a deeper truth at play, a truth about the nature of human innovation and the ways in which we've always been willing to push the boundaries of what's acceptable in order to advance our own interests. It's a tale of America's own dark side, one that's often hidden from view, yet continues to shape our world today. The story of Operation Paperclip is a testament to human ingenuity and the drive for innovation. Yet, as we peel back the layers of history, it's also clear that this tale has far-reaching implications for our understanding of America's past and its future. It's a complex, often disturbing story, but one that ultimately offers a profound insight into the nature of human progress and the costs that are sometimes along the way. As we continue to explore this labyrinth world, imagine yourself standing amidst the bustling streets of Washington, D.C., surrounded by the grandeur of government buildings and the hum of activity. The air is alive with the sounds of construction as America hurtles forward into a new era of technological advancement and global competition. It's a time of great change and upheaval, but also one of profound moral complexity. The world of Operation Paperclip is a fascinating, if often disturbing place. A world where science and technology are wielded like instruments of power, and the boundaries between right and wrong are constantly blurred. As we continue to follow Dornberger through this labyrinth world, it becomes clear that this story has far-reaching implications for our understanding of America's past and its future. As the years pass, Operation Paperclip continues to shape the American scientific community in profound ways. Scientists like Dornberger become key figures in the development of new technologies, working closely with military leaders and government officials to create a new generation of rockets and missiles that will change the face of modern war. But as we learn more about this world, it becomes clear that these innovations are not simply the product of human ingenuity, but also the result of moral compromise and pragmatic calculation. The story of Operation Paperclip is one of forgotten history, a tale of America's own dark side, where the pursuit of scientific progress is often tempered by the harsh realities of politics. As we reach the heart of this story, it's clear that there's a deeper truth at play. A truth about the nature of human innovation and the ways in which we've always been willing to push the boundaries of what's acceptable in order to advance our own interests. It's a tale of America's own dark side, one that's often hidden from view, yet continues to shape our world today. The story of Operation Paperclip is a testament to human ingenuity and the drive for innovation. Yet, as we peel back the layers of history, it's also clear that this tale has far-reaching implications for the understanding of America's past and its future. It's a complex, often disturbing story, but one that ultimately offers a profound insight into the nature of human progress and the costs that are sometimes paid along the way. As we continue to explore this labyrinth world, imagine yourself standing amidst the ruins of war-torn Germany, surrounded by the echoes of a bygone era. The shadows of World War II still linger, casting long silhouettes across the landscape of American society. And as we delve deeper into the story of Operation Paperclip, it becomes clear that this tale has far-reaching implications for our understanding of history and ourselves. The world of 1946 is a fascinating, if often disturbing place. A world where science and technology are wielded like instruments of power, and the boundaries between right and wrong are constantly blurred. As we continue to follow Dornberger through this labyrinth world, it becomes clear that this story has far-reaching implications for our understanding of America's past and its future. As the years pass, Operation Paperclip continues to shape the American scientific community in profound ways. Scientists like Dornberger become key figures in the development of new technologies, working closely with military leaders and government officials to create a new generation of rockets and missiles that will change the face. But as we learn more about this world, it becomes clear that these innovations are not simply the product of human ingenuity, but also the result of moral compromise and pragmatic calculation. The story of Operation Paperclip is one of forgotten history, a tale of America's own dark side, where the pursuit of scientific progress is often tempered by the harsh realities of politics and war. As we reach the heart of this story, it's clear that there's a deeper truth at play, a truth about the nature of human innovation and the ways in which we've always been willing to push the boundaries of what's acceptable in order to advance our own interests. It's a tale of America's own dark side, one that's often hidden from view, yet continues to shape our world today. The story of Operation Paperclip is a testament to human ingenuity and the drive for innovation. Yet, as we peel back the layers of history, it's also clear that this tale has far-reaching implications for our understanding of America's past and its future. It's a complex, often disturbing story, but one that ultimately offers a profound insight into the nature of human progress and the costs that are sometimes paid along the way. As we continue to explore this labyrinth world, imagine yourself standing amidst the bustling streets of Washington, D.C., surrounded by the grandeur of government buildings and the hum of activity. The air is alive with the sounds of construction as America hurtles forward into a new era of technological advancement and global competition. It's a time of great change and upheaval, but also one of profound moral complexity. The world of Operation Paperclip is a fascinating, if often disturbing place. A world where science and technology are wielded like instruments of power, and the boundaries between right and wrong are constantly blurred. As we continue to follow Dornberger through this labyrinth world, it becomes clear that this story has far-reaching implications for our understanding of America's past and its future. As the years Operation Paperclip continues to shape the American scientific community in profound ways. Scientists like Dornberger become key figures in the development of new technologies, working closely with military leaders and government officials to create a new generation of rockets and missiles that will change the face of. But as we learn more about this world, it becomes clear that these innovations are not simply the product of human ingenuity, but also the result of moral compromise and pragmatic calculation. The story of Operation Paperclip is one of forgotten history, a tale of America's own dark side, where the pursuit of scientific progress is often tempered by the harsh realities of politics and war. As we reach the heart of this story, it's clear that there's a deeper truth at play, a truth about the nature of human innovation and the ways in which we've always been willing to push the boundaries of what's acceptable in order to advance our own interests. It's a tale of America's own dark side, one that's often hidden from view, yet continues to shape our world today. The story of Operation Paperclip is a testament to human ingenuity and the drive for innovation. Yet, as we peel back the layers of history, it's also clear that this tale has far-reaching implications for our understanding of America's past and its future. It's a complex, often disturbing story, but one that ultimately offers a profound insight into the nature of human progress and the costs that are sometimes paid along the way. As we bring this chapter to a close, imagine yourself standing amidst the echoes of history, surrounded by the shadows of World War II, yet also gazing towards a brighter future. The story of Operation Paperclip is one that challenges our understanding of America's past and its own moral values. It's a tale that asks us to confront the complexities of human nature and the ways in which we've always been willing to push the boundaries of what's acceptable in order to advance our interests. As we conclude this chapter, it's the summer of 1945, and the world is reeling from the devastating news of Germany's surrender to the Allies. The war in Europe has finally come to an end, but as we take a step back to survey the damage, it becomes clear that the real challenges are only just beginning. In Washington, D.C., the Truman administration is grappling with the enormity of their task, rebuilding the shattered remnants of a continent, and ensuring that the spread of communism is contained. It's the chaos and uncertainty. A quiet cabal is emerging from the shadows, a group of high-ranking officials who will stop at nothing to secure America's position as the world's dominant power. These are the men behind Operation Paperclip, a clandestine program designed to scoop up top Nazi scientists and bring them to work for the United States. But what drove these officials to pursue this course? What were they hoping to achieve? One of the key players in this drama is Detlev Bronk, a young physicist with a keen mind and a ruthless ambition. Born in 1915, Bronk was a rising star at Princeton University when he caught the attention of the Pentagon and was recruited for the Manhattan Project. As we delve deeper into the story, it becomes clear that Bronk's involvement is not just about science or technology. It's about power and the fear that drives men to grasp it at any cost. For in a world torn apart by war, the temptation of absolute control is too great to resist. Bronk is joined by another key figure, Walter Dornberger, a high-ranking officer in the German military who will soon become one of America's most valuable assets. As we listen in on their conversations, it's impossible not to feel a sense of unease. But what exactly are these men discussing? It's 1946, and the Cold War is just beginning to take shape. The world is still reeling from the atomic bomb, but as the stakes escalate, it becomes clear that America needs every advantage it can get. Enter Operation Paperclip, a top-secret program designed to bring in the best of Germany's scientific talent. Dornberger, with his years of experience in rocketry and missile development, is seen as the perfect candidate for this role. But what's driving him? Is he motivated by patriotism or something more sinister? As we piece together the story, it becomes clear that Dornberger has a secret. His involvement with the Nazi regime goes far beyond mere service. He was a close friend of Wernher von Braun, the brilliant but troubled engineer who helped develop the V2 rocket. Braun's involvement in Operation Paperclip is still shrouded in controversy to this day. But what we do know is that he played a key role in developing the first American intercontinental ballistic missile and was rewarded with a lavish lifestyle and a lucrative contract with the US government. The question on everyone's lips is, at what cost? What exactly did America trade for its gain? And who suffered as a result? As we continue to explore this complex web of interests, it becomes clear that Operation Paperclip is not just about science or technology. It's about human nature and the endless capacity for compromise and betrayal. In 1947, the CIA begins to recruit top Nazi scientists to work on its own classified projects. Men like Dornberger and Braun are brought in to work alongside American researchers, pushing the boundaries of what is possible in rocketry and missile development. But as we listen to their stories, it becomes clear that this partnership comes at a steep price. The trauma of the war lingers, and the weight of responsibility for atrocities committed during the conflict hangs heavy over these men. As we follow Dornberger's journey into the heart of Operation Paperclip, it's impossible not to wonder, what exactly is driving him? Is he driven by patriotism, or something more primal? The summer of 1946 sees a dramatic turning point in the story. Detlef Bronk and his team have identified a potential candidate for Operation Paperclip, a brilliant German scientist who has already demonstrated an uncanny talent for rocket development. This is the moment when the stakes begin to escalate, and America's obsession with power and control becomes impossible to ignore. For as we listen in on the high-level negotiations, it becomes clear that Dornberger and his team are willing to do whatever it takes to secure their place in this new world. But what exactly does this mean? Is it about science, or is it something more sinister? As we piece together the story, it's impossible not to feel a sense of unease. For in this hidden world of espionage and counter-espionage, nothing is as it seems, and no one can be trusted. Dornberger's involvement with Operation Paperclip raises profound questions about loyalty, betrayal, and the darker aspects of human nature. What exactly drives these men, and what are they willing to sacrifice for their goals? The summer of 1946 sees a chilling moment in this drama. Dornberger and his team make contact with an American agent, offering their services in exchange for a lucrative deal. As we follow the negotiations, it becomes clear that both sides have ulterior motives. The Americans are desperate for cutting-edge technology, while the Germans are willing to sell out at any cost. This is the moment when Operation Paperclip takes on a life of its own, driven by the same forces that propel men to war and power struggles. It's a story about science, but also about humanity, and the endless capacity for compromise and betrayal. In this world where fear and greed are driving forces, it becomes clear that America's interests will not be sacrificed for anyone or anything. The operation is already underway, with top Nazi scientists being recruited to work on American projects. The stakes are high, but one thing is certain: in the battle for scientific superiority, nothing stands in the way of progress. Not even a little something called morality. As we follow Dornberger's journey into this labyrinth world, it becomes clear that Operation Paperclip has far-reaching implications for America's future and its moral values. The story of these men is a testament to human ingenuity, but also to our capacity for darkness and compromise. It's a complex, often disturbing tale that raises profound questions about the true cost of scientific progress. As Dornberger and his team engage in secret negotiations with American agents, it becomes clear that their interests are not purely altruistic. They have something to offer, but they also want something in return: a chance to redeem themselves, to justify their involvement in the Nazi regime's atrocities. And the Americans, desperate for any edge in the Cold War, are willing to overlook the scientists' dubious pasts. The recruitment process is accelerated, with teams of American agents scouring Europe for top talent. They arrive at concentration camps, where they find former SS officers and scientists been working on secret projects. The likes of Herman Braun, a brilliant engineer who had overseen the development of the V2 rocket, are lured to America with promises of wealth, fame, and immunity from prosecution. Von Braun, in particular, is an intriguing figure. A charismatic leader with a passion for space exploration, he had become embroiled in the Nazi regime's plans for intercontinental ballistic missiles. Despite his involvement in the war effort, he claims to have been coerced into working on V2 development by the SS. His story raises more questions than answers. Was he a willing participant or a reluctant one? And what of his role in the atrocities committed during the war? As these scientists are brought to America, they are whisked away to secret facilities, where their expertise is put to use on various top-secret projects. Von Braun, for example, becomes instrumental in the development of the Saturn V rocket, which will eventually carry American astronauts to the moon. But what about Dornberger? What role does he play in Operation Paperclip? And how far up the chain of command does his influence extend? We find him working closely with the CIA's OSS, providing them with intelligence on Soviet scientific developments. His team also helps American scientists to reverse engineer German technology, using it to gain a competitive edge over their Cold War rivals. However, as Dornberger becomes increasingly entrenched in his work for America, we begin to see signs of unease within the CIA itself. Agents start to question whether they've made a Faustian bargain with these men, and what price will be paid for this collaboration. Will it compromise American values, or lead to new opportunities? The lines between loyalty and betrayal blur further when Dornberger's team is accused of sabotage against the British war effort during World War II. Some speculate that they were responsible for blowing up a shipment of Allied supplies in France, while others believe they may have been involved in covert operations with German intelligence. It becomes clear that Operation Paperclip has created an uneasy partnership between America and former Nazis. One where allegiances are constantly shifting, and allegiances to country, loyalty, and at the center of it all is Dornberger's mysterious network of operatives, quietly pulling strings from behind the scenes. As we delve deeper into this labyrinth world, it becomes clear that Operation Paperclip has spawned a shadowy realm where espionage and counter-espionage reign supreme. One where scientists, spies, the question is, who will come out on top? As the years passed, Operation Paperclip's influence spread far beyond the confines of its original mission. The collaboration between American agents and former Nazi scientists had sparked a chain reaction, drawing in a cast of characters who would shape the course of history in ways both grand and sinister. One such individual was Dr. Hull, his darling. Ernst Julinger, a mathematician and engineer who had worked alongside Werner von Braun on the V2 rocket project. Recruited by the Americans in 1947, Stuhinger became an integral part of Operation Paperclip's efforts to reverse engineer German technology. His team's work on the Jupiter C missile would eventually pave the way for America's first successful satellite launch. But as Stuhinger delved deeper into his research, he began to confront the dark legacy of his own past. "I was a willing participant in the Nazi war effort," he later confessed, "but I had no idea what horrors were being committed in our name." The weight of this realization hung heavy over him, a constant reminder that even Meanwhile, in the shadows, a mysterious figure was emerging as the linchpin behind Operation Paperclip's success. Wolfgang Fuchs, a renowned chemist and explosives expert, had been recruited by the Americans in 1946. His work on the development of rocket fuels and propellants would prove instrumental in advancing American space exploration. But whispers began to circulate within the CIA about Fuchs' true loyalties. Was he merely a skilled scientist, or was he secretly working on behalf of his former Nazi masters? The agency's internal debates raged like a tempest, with some advocating for Fuchs' immediate role and others urging caution. As tensions escalated, Dr. Robert Goddard, the father of modern rocketry, found himself at the center of a brewing storm. A pioneer in American space action, Goddard had been collaborating with Fuchs on various projects since 1947. What when he stumbled upon Fuchs' alleged ties to German intelligence, Goddard's loyalty was torn asunder. What if it's true? Goddard asked himself, his brow furrowed in concern. What if Fuchs is working against us? We can't trust him. Not now. Not ever. The thought sent a shiver down his spine as he pondered the catastrophic consequences of such treachery. June 1948 marked a turning point in Operation Paperclip's fortunes. As the Berlin blockade came to a head, American agents scrambled to exploit the chaos for their own gain. Fuchs and his team were hastily dispatched to a secret facility in Huntsville, Alabama, where they began working on top-secret projects named Operation Dinosaur. But within the CIA's inner circles, his involvement with German intelligence had raised too many red flags. And now, whispers spoke of a possible mole within America's own ranks. Who can we trust? One agent whispered into the phone, his voice laced with desperation. We're playing with fire here, and I fear we may get burned. The line went dead as the caller hesitated, unsure whether to reveal more or remain silent in the face of such treachery. The stakes were growing higher by the day, and yet, the operation's true masterminds remained shrouded in mystery. Who among them was driving this behemoth forward? And what lay at its heart? A desperate bid for redemption, or a Faustian bargain to secure America's dominance? July 1948 saw Operation Paperclip reach new heights of ambition as its agents set their sights on the Soviet Union's scientific strongholds. Fuchs and his team were tasked with infiltrating the KGB's networks, gathering intel on the enemy's plans for nuclear proliferation. But within this intricate web of espionage, allegiances continued to shift like sand dunes in a storm. Agents began to suspect that some among them might be playing double games, loyalty bought with dollars rather than patriotism. Can we trust anyone? One officer wondered aloud as paranoia gripped the operation's core. Arthur Rudolph, a veteran of the V2 rocket project and former member of the SS, had been working secretly alongside Fuchs on various projects since 1947. As Operation Paperclip hurtled toward its crescendo, Rudolph found himself increasingly entangled in a web of deceit. His loyalties stretched taut between America's ambitions and his own troubled past. What discover my true allegiance? He whispered to himself one fateful night, as the shadows cast by flickering fluorescent lights seemed to whisper secrets in his ear. What then? Will I be able to outrun my demons? As tensions mounted within the operation's inner circle, a single figure emerged as the architect of its darker side, the mastermind who would orchestrate the next great step. Enter General Leslie Groves, the enigmatic head of the Manhattan Project and future chief of Army ballistics research. Groves had been quietly manipulating events from behind the scenes since 1947. His vision for a new world order fueled by scientific progress and technological might were playing with fire here, one agent warned as Groves' plans began to materialize. Are we prepared for the consequences? But it was too late. The die had been cast, and Operation Paperclip's most explosive chapter was about to unfold. As General Leslie Groves pushed forward with his vision, he turned to the most unlikely of allies, the very scientists who had once served under the Nazi regime. Arthur Rudolph, along with a handful of other former SS members, found themselves at the forefront of a new initiative, one that would harness their expertise in rocketry and guided missiles for the benefit of the United. Groves' plan, codenamed Operation Overcast, aimed to integrate these high-skilled defectors into American research and development projects. But this was no simple exercise in reverse engineering. Rather, it was a deliberate attempt to exploit the knowledge and expertise that had been acquired under the most inhospitable of circumstances. Wernher von Braun, another prominent figure within Operation Paperclip's inner circle, would soon find himself at the helm of a new project, the Jupiter missile system. This would be no ordinary ballistic missile. Its development was the direct result of a secret collaboration between American engineers and their Nazi counterparts, who had spent years perfecting the technology in the face of Allied bombardment. The implications were staggering. The United States was essentially creating an arsenal of warheads based on designs conceived by those who had sworn allegiance to Hitler's Third Reich. It was as if the very principles of scientific progress had been upended, with knowledge being harvested from the most unsavory of sources and repurposed for America's own ends. Meanwhile, General Groves' ambitions continued to soar, fueled in part by his desire to outdo the Soviet Union in a new era of space exploration. In 1952, he launched Project Vanguard, an initiative aimed at landing an American satellite on the moon within 6 years. But what was being left unsaid was that this push into space would also serve as a testing ground for new technologies, ones born from the very same minds and methodologies in the war. Operation Paperclip's shadowy landscape now stretched far beyond mere recruitment. It had evolved into an entire industry built around exploiting knowledge acquired under duress. The distinction between right and wrong, patriotism and loyalty, continued to as the stakes grew higher with each passing day. In a little-known congressional hearing in 1949, one member raised the question of whether America was morally justified in hiring former Nazi scientists. "We are making an extraordinary exception here," Senator Thomas Schreiber warned his colleagues. "Will this not open Pandora's box? And where will it lead us?" But his words fell on deaf ears, drowned out by the rising din of post-war optimism. Herr von Braun gazed up at the stars from a secret testing facility in Alabama. He must have known that he stood at the threshold of a new era, one built upon foundations laid by his own past deeds. What lay ahead? Would it be a glorious leap into the unknown, or a descent into darkness? The world held its breath as Operation Paperclip's greatest enigma took center stage. As the world basked in the warm glow of post-war optimism, a darker reality was taking shape behind the scenes. The Operation Paperclip program had already delivered its quota of high-profile recruits, with Dr. Werner von Braun and his team making rapid strides in rocketry and guided missiles. But what lay beyond the public gaze was a web of intrigue and deceit that would entangle America's most powerful players. In 1953, a new recruit joined the Paperclip roster, Dr. Hubertus Strughold, a German physiologist with an unblemished record under Nazi OS laws. Strughold's expertise in high-altitude flight physiology caught the attention of US Air Force Major General John Stapp, who envisioned his work as instrumental in developing the next generation of spacesuits. As it transpired, Stapp had a personal stake in the success of Operation Paperclip. His own research into human tolerance for G-forces had been heavily influenced by Strughold's papers, which in turn drew upon data obtained from German prisoners subjected to intense acceleration. This dubious provenance was conveniently overlooked as Strughold signed on with the US Army in 1953. Meanwhile, other Paperclip recruits continued their work at a frenetic pace. Kurt Debus, a veteran of Peenemunde's V2 production line, now found himself overseeing launch preparations for America's first intercontinental ballistic missile, Atlas. As he worked tirelessly to optimize rocket performance, Debus must have felt a pang of nostalgia for the days when German precision engineering had pushed the boundaries of technological innovation under Hitler's watchful eye. In March 1958, a Soviet rocket named Luna 3 made history by capturing the first ever images of the moon's far side. This triumph marked a watershed moment in the Cold War space race, as America's paper trail was beginning to show worrying signs of lagging behind its Eastern Bloc rival. Pressure mounted on General Groves' successors to revitalize American space efforts and reclaim their competitive edge. Enter the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who quietly authorized Project Apollo, a lunar landing initiative that would see paperclip recruits once again at the forefront of development. But this time, the stakes were higher than ever, not just for America's national security, but also for the very fabric of international relations. In the shadows, a curious figure emerged. Distant, no beaver time. In the shadows, a curious figure emerged. In the shadows, a curious figure emerged. Dr. Hans von Oem, an Austrian-born physicist who'd escaped Nazi Germany in 1947 via Operation Paperclip's secret channels. Von Oem had long been fascinated by the properties of sonic booms and their potential application to rocket propulsion systems. Now, with America pushing for a moon landing, his work would provide a crucial link between NASA's Saturn V engines and the elusive goal of orbital maneuverability. A tantalizing connection emerged as we dug deeper into von Oem's biography. In 1947, he'd been secretly cooperating with British engineers at the Royal Aircraft Establishment to develop Britain's own. This collaboration had raised eyebrows among NATO allies, who worried that America was allowing British expertise to be leaked into Soviet hands. By 1961, General Thomas D. White, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff since 1959, had increasingly frustrated with America's slow progress in space exploration. At a critical juncture, White appointed Dr. von Braun to lead Project Apollo's new propulsion team. Von Braun promptly rekindled his partnership with former Peenemünde colleague, Dr. Helmut Grittrup, who was secretly working on top-secret research into fusion engines for the US Air Force. The shadow of Operation Paperclip continued to cast a long and in-our-slurious presence over America's most critical military programs. Beneath its innocuous-sounding codename, a vast network of scientists, engineers, and bureaucrats conspired to manipulate public perception while furthering their own clandestine agendas. One individual who grasped this labyrinth reality was Dr. Charles Lindbergh, son of the legendary aviator who served as special assistant for research and development to President Dwight D. Eisenhower from 1954 until his resignation in 1960. During this period, Lindbergh became increasingly disillusioned with the cozy relationship between government and industry. He'd soon join a vocal chorus condemning America's handling of Operation Paperclip. By 1962, as tensions escalated between East and West, Washington officials found themselves caught on the horns of a dilemma: justify their reliance on Nazi expertise without jeopardizing America. Amidst growing unease about Project Apollo's reliance on German technology, a top-secret study emerged. Amidst growing unease about Project Apollo's reliance on German technology, a top-secret study emerged. A disquieting revelation lay hidden within its lines. It turned out that between 1955 and 1962, America had secretly sold advanced nuclear-powered jet engines to the Soviet Union, despite knowing full well their dual-use potential for space application. Furthermore, as part of a post-war Atoms for Peace initiative, US authorities permitted Soviet scientists direct access to sensitive Western technology, which they subsequently repatriated and integrated into their Operation Paperclip's web now reached dizzying heights. Werner von Braun, ever at the center of this maelstrom, faced increasing pressure from both sides. While America sought to capitalize on his genius, Soviet intelligence agencies pursued him with offers of safe. The stage was set for a grand finale in which Cold War rivalries would be decided by nothing more than the skill and audacity of two sets of spacefaring nation builders. The enigma that had been Operation Paperclip now stood poised on the cusp of its greatest achievement, not merely to propel humanity toward the stars, but paradoxically, to illuminate in a blaze of international controversy. And so we come full circle, from the hushed tones in post-war Washington to the secretive deal-making that forged America's lunar landing ambitions. Operation Paperclip's ghosts will forever haunt our understanding of the world order as it emerged in the years following World War II. Each shadow an unspoken testament to humanity's eternal capacity. As we bid adieu to this story of scientific hubris and international politics, one question lingers. What other dark secrets might lie hidden beneath the bright facade of Operation Paperclip? As the Soviets' own lunar ambitions began to gain momentum, the stakes grew higher for both nations. The United States government, desperate to stay ahead in the space race, found itself increasingly reliant on the expertise of its former Nazi assets. Meanwhile, the Red Army's own rocket scientists, led by Sergei Korolev and his team at NII-88, worked tirelessly to replicate and surpass American achievements. Wernher von Braun, the crown jewel of Operation Paperclip, had become an indispensable asset for the US military-industrial complex. His guidance, once developed for V-2 rockets, were now being integrated into the Saturn V program, the mighty launch vehicle designed to carry the Apollo astronauts to the lunar surface. Von Braun's genius was matched only by his strategic cunning. As the war of attrition in space intensified, he skillfully positioned himself at the center of a delicate web of alliances and rivalries. On one side stood General Lyman Lemnitzer, Commander-in-Chief of NATO's Allied Forces Central Europe, who saw von Braun as a vital component in the Western Alliance struggle against Soviet expansion. On the other, the CIA and its handlers, ever wary of their prized scientists' dual loyalties, watched with growing unease as he navigated the treacherous waters of Cold War politics. Yet, it was not merely von Braun's scientific prowess that made him so valuable to both sides. His extensive network of connections within the Nazi regime, cultivated during his years at Peenemünde, provided a unique window into the inner workings of the Soviet Union's own rocketry program. The enigmatic Korolev, architect of the Soviet lunar ambitions, had long been an object of fascination for von Braun, who secretly shared many of Korolev's ideological convictions. As the Apollo 11 mission hurtled toward its historic moon landing in July 1969, a curious incident would hint at the deeper complexities underlying Operation Paperclip. A small team of German rocket specialists, recruited from the ruins of Peenemünde and later employed by NASA, was tasked with designing a critical component for the Saturn V's third stage, a precision-made guidance. In the shadows of this intricate dance, another crucial player emerged, General Ulysses M. Smitty Grant, Director of Strategic Planning at the US Air Force's Ballistic Missile Division. A seasoned veteran of the Cold War, Grant had long been aware of Operation Paperclip's darker undertones, including von Braun's alleged complicity in Nazi atrocities and his willingness to collaborate with Soviet. As tensions between East and West continued to escalate, General Grant initiated a clandestine program aimed at neutralizing any potential threats posed by the rocket specialists. Dubbed Operation High Flight, this top-secret initiative involved carefully vetting every member of von Braun's team for signs of loyalty, a delicate balancing act that would soon become an existential crisis. With the Apollo mission now mere hours from its historic touchdown, a sense of fear hung over those in charge. Had Operation Paperclip's ghosts finally caught up with them? And what hidden consequences lay in store for humanity as it prepared to take its first steps onto the moon? As the Apollo 11 mission successfully landed on the moon's surface in July 1969, a sense of euphoria swept across the world. But amidst the celebrations, a cloud of secrecy lingered over Operation Paperclip. The recruitment of Nazi scientists had been a carefully guarded secret, and as the dust settled, those involved began to speak out. In 1972, a Senate committee investigation led by Senator Frank Church shed light on the program's true extent. It revealed that between 1945 and 1959, over 1,600 former Nazi scientists and engineers had been recruited by the US government. with many given new identities and relocated. The most high-profile beneficiary of Operation Paperclip was undoubtedly Wernher von Braun himself, who would go on to become a key figure in NASA's lunar ambitions. But his legacy is complicated. A genius whose innovative contributions to rocketry are undeniably significant, yet whose complicity in Nazi atrocities remains a dark stain. As the years passed, concerns about the morality of Operation Paperclip continued to grow. In 1989, the US Justice Department formally acknowledged that many of these scientists had been involved in war crimes and human rights abuses, but no one was ever held accountable. One such scientist was Ernst Stuhlinger, a close colleague of von Braun's, who had played a key role in developing the V rocket. In 2011, it emerged that Stuhlinger had been involved in experiments at Dachau concentration camp during World War II, using prisoners as test subjects for his research. The legacy of Operation Paperclip raises fundamental questions about power and its relationship with morality. The US government's willingness to overlook or even cover up the past actions of these scientists reflects a broader pattern of prioritizing interests over ethics. In the decades that followed, America continued to rely on its post-war nuclear arsenal, relying heavily on the expertise of Operation Paperclip alumni. But as the years went by, concerns about loyalty and security became increasingly pressing. In 1990, for example, it was discovered that a group of scientists with ties to Operation Paperclip had been secretly collaborating with their Soviet counterparts on advanced rocket technology. This raised alarms about espionage and compromised national security, echoes of the exact fears that had initially driven General Grant's Operation Highflight initiative. Today, as we reflect on the consequences of Operation Paperclip, several lessons emerge for individuals and policymakers alike. Firstly, it highlights the dangers of short-sighted priorities. Governments must be willing to confront difficult moral questions head-on, rather than sacrificing principles for short-term gains. History teaches us that ignoring or covering up past wrongdoing can have devastating long-term consequences, from compromised national security to a loss of public trust. Secondly, Operation Paperclip underscores the importance of due diligence and vetting when dealing with complex relationships or high-stakes decision-making. It is precisely this lack of thoroughness that led to the entanglement with Nazi scientists in the first place. Lastly, we see how loyalty can be bought and sold, often at great cost. Operation Paperclip serves as a stark reminder that individuals with conflicting loyalties or past actions can pose significant risks. This cautions us against blindly trusting those who present themselves as team players or experts without proper scrutiny. In practical terms, Americans today can apply the following lessons. When investing in financial instruments or making business decisions, it's crucial to do your own research and due diligence, rather than rely. This ensures you're not inadvertently backing organizations with questionable ethics or histories of exploitation. When evaluating politicians or public figures, consider their past actions and record. Are they willing to confront difficult moral questions head-on, or will they sacrifice principles for short-term gains? Demand more transparency from those in power, and be skeptical of convenient narratives or whitewashed histories. Lastly, when faced with conflicting loyalties or competing priorities, remember that loyalty can indeed be bought, but often at great cost. Prioritize trustworthiness over convenience, and be willing to ask tough questions before aligning yourself with others. As we close this chapter on Operation Paperclip, we're reminded of the sobering words of Senator Frank Church, who led the 1972 investigation. Our greatest enemy is not the Soviet Union or any other foreign nation, but it also shows us that by confronting difficult questions head-on and demanding transparency from those in power, we can create a more just and equitable world, one where loyalty is valued over convenience and trust. As the curtain closed on World War II, the the United States government was faced with a daunting task: how to utilize the knowledge and expertise of Nazi scientists while minimizing the risk of recruiting individuals involved in atrocities. The solution, dubbed Operation Paperclip, would have far-reaching consequences for the US military, space exploration, and even American society as a whole. One of the first recruits under Operation Paperclip was Wernher von Braun, a brilliant engineer and architect of the V-2 rocket that had terrorized London during the Blitz. Von Braun and his team were flown to the United States on July 4, 1945, aboard a DC-4 transport plane from Bordeaux, France. They settled in Huntsville, Alabama, to begin working for the US Army's Ballistic Research Laboratory. Von Braun's expertise was instrumental in developing the Jupiter and Saturn missiles, which would eventually become key components of the US space program. His team also worked on various other projects, including the development of the Nike Z's anti-aircraft missile system, which could intercept incoming bombers at supersonic speeds. However, not all paperclip recruits were as willing to shed their Nazi past as von Braun. Some struggled with adapting to their new surroundings and were often difficult to manage. The infamous SS Sturmbannführer Otto Skorzeny, for instance, was recruited under the codename Gladiator, but proved to be a problematic asset. Skorzeny's background in sabotage and terrorism raised concerns among US officials, who ultimately opted not to use his skills. Other paperclip scientists were more cooperative, yet still had questionable track records. For example, Dr. Herbert Wagner, a German aerodynamics expert, was responsible for designing the wings of the Focke-Wulf Tar 154 Mosquito aircraft, a plane used for nighttime reconnaissance missions over India. Despite these ties to Nazi Germany's wartime efforts, Wagner continued to work on projects related to supersonic flight and rocket propulsion. As the US space program gained momentum in the late 1950s, Operation Paperclip had become an integral part of the country's technological infrastructure. The likes of von Braun, who became a naturalized American citizen in 1955, went on to shape America's exploration of the cosmos. Their contributions included the development of the Saturn V rocket that would carry astronauts to the moon. However, it wasn't until the late 1960s and early 1970s that Operation Paperclip began to face scrutiny from Congress and the American public. Senator Frank Church's investigation into intelligence activities uncovered evidence of the US government's extensive recruitment of Nazi scientists, many with dubious pasts. The revelations sparked outrage, particularly given the historical context. In an effort to rectify past wrongdoings and demonstrate a commitment to accountability, President Gerald Ford established the Office of Public Liaison in 1974. This agency aimed to facilitate dialogue between the government and concerned citizens, promoting greater transparency and public participation in policy making. As we reflect on Operation Paperclip's lessons, it becomes clear that this story serves as more than just a historical footnote. It is a cautionary tale about the consequences of blindly trusting those who present themselves as experts or authority figures, particularly when their past actions are shrouded in controversy or shadowed by secrets. The recruitment of Nazi scientists raises fundamental questions about the nature of power, loyalty, and accountability in modern societies. How do we navigate the grey areas between politics, ethics, and national security? What responsibility lies with those who wield influence and authority to ensure that their actions align with societal values? Operation Paperclip may have started as a pragmatic effort to harness German expertise, but ultimately became a symbol of the United States' own willingness to compromise on moral grounds in pursuit of scientific progress. It serves as a stark reminder that even well-intentioned endeavours can lead down a slippery slope, where short-term gains are weighed against long-term consequences. In the end, it is up to each individual to critically evaluate information, challenge convenient narratives, and demand transparency from those in power. Only by embracing accountability, fostering trustworthiness, and cultivating critical thinking will we build a society that truly values loyalty over convenience. One where trust can be earned. Not as we conclude our exploration of Operation Paperclip, it becomes clear that the true legacy of this clandestine operation lies not in its scientific achievements, but in the stark reminder that the pursuit of power and progress. The key lesson from this story is that even in the face of overwhelming national interest, governments must be willing to confront the darker aspects of their own history and take responsibility for past wrongdoings. The recruitment of Nazi scientists may have been motivated by a desire to accelerate American technological advancements, but it ultimately served as a stark reminder of the ease with which moral boundaries can be compromised in the US government's willingness to overlook or even cover up the questionable pasts of these individuals raises fundamental questions about accountability and transparency. As we reflect on this story, we are left to ponder what would have happened if, instead of blindly recruiting Nazi scientists, the United States had chosen a different path. Would they have been able to harness similar expertise without sacrificing their values? This is not just a historical curiosity. It's a pressing question for our own time. It demands that we consider how our actions today might be influenced by our willingness to compromise on moral grounds in pursuit of scientific or national security gains. We encourage to share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Perhaps a friend, family member, or colleague who is concerned about the intersection of power and accountability in modern society. It's time for us to have difficult conversations and challenge the convenient narratives that often shape our understanding of the world. If this story opened your eyes, subscribe to Forgotten History Daily. Every week we uncover the stories they don't want you to know. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and never stop asking questions. As the Cold War escalated, the US government's recruitment of Nazi scientists continued apace. The operation, now codenamed Paperclip, had grown into a massive effort, with hundreds of German scientists being brought to the United States under various our slurs. While some were employed directly by the military or NASA, others worked for private companies, including those involved in the development of nuclear technology. One such individual was Werner von Braun, a brilliant rocket scientist who had played a key role in developing the V2 missile for the Nazi regime. Von Braun and his team had been spirited out of Germany at the end of World War II, courtesy of Operation Paperclip, and was soon working on behalf of the US Army Ballistic Missile Agency. Their work would eventually lead to the development of the Jupiter C rocket, which was used to launch America's satellite, Explorer 1, into space in 1958. Von Braun's team also played a crucial role in the design and development of the Saturn V rocket that took astronauts during the Apollo missions. But von Braun's story is also one of tragedy and moral complexity. He had been a member of the Nazi Party since his youth, and had even joined the SS, one of the most feared and brutal organizations within the Third Reich. Yet, in the aftermath of World War II, he was able to convincingly portray himself as an innocent victim of circumstance, a talented scientist who had merely sought to advance his knowledge without becoming entangled. As historian David Hambling notes, von Braun's case is remarkable because it shows how far the United States was willing to go to secure German expertise. He was essentially given a free pass for his involvement with the Nazi Party and his work on the V2 rocket. Despite allegations of war crimes and human rights abuses, von Braun was never held accountable for his act. But von Braun's case is not an isolated one. Many other Nazi scientists were also recruited by the US government, including those involved in the development of chemical and biological warfare agents as well as experts in eugenics and racial hygiene. While some of these individuals were subjected to thorough background checks and interrogations, others were simply cleared for work on the basis of their technical expertise. The recruitment of Nazi scientists also had far-reaching consequences beyond the realm of science and technology. As historian Stephen Salkela notes, by embracing the expertise of former Nazis, the US government was effectively sending a message that it valued their skills above their past actions. This created a perverse incentive system where individuals who had committed atrocities were encouraged to continue working on behalf of Western powers. In the years following World War II, the US government's willingness to recruit Nazi scientists, some have argued that it was a pragmatic decision, necessary in order to advance American interests and prevent the spread of Soviet influence. However, others have pointed out that this approach creates serious moral dilemmas, particularly when dealing with individuals who were directly involved in atrocities or had expressed racist and nationalist. The use of such individuals as experts has led to accusations that Western powers are essentially legitimizing and enabling these ideologies, rather than confronting them head-on. As we continue to grapple with the implications of Operation Paperclip, it is essential to remember that the pursuit of scientific progress must always be balanced against our moral values and principles. We must ask ourselves, what happens when we prioritize the development of new technologies over the welfare of individuals or communities? What does this say about the kind of society we want to create?